You love taking photos and it's your passion. But let's be honest, where is your best work right now? Is it sitting on your hard drive or buried in some folder that no one will ever see? Now, imagine that one photo, the one that you're most proud of, was hanging on someone's wall. It's a piece of artwork they look at and they love every single day. So what if you had a roadmap to take your photos from your screen to their wall and turn that passion of yours into a real profitable business? Well, that's exactly what this is. This is your complete beginner's guide to selling photographic prints. We're going to cover everything from pricing and printing and to shipping and selling. Hey, I'm Steve. Let's get into it. Before we get into the deep dive, let's talk about the first and biggest hurdle, and that's going to be your own mindset. It's so easy to get caught up thinking, well, is my work really actually good enough, or who on earth is going to buy my photos? Well, slow down just a little bit here. If you're creating that work that you're proud of, there's an audience for it. The goal isn't to sell to everybody, it's to find your people, your specific ones, the ones who connect with your unique vision. Selling prints isn't about just making money. It's about sharing your art and letting someone else actually experience it in the real tangible way. So where do you begin? First, you curate your portfolio. Don't try to sell every single image that you've ever taken, and that's just a recipe for overwhelming yourself and your customers as well. Instead, pull together a collection of your absolute best work. Think about what you do best. Is it a moody black and white landscape or a vibrant, energetic street photography? The choice is up to you. Now, you try to define your niche in one sentence. For example, I sell fine art, black and white landscape prints of the Pacific Northwest. Now, that's the kind of clarity that helps people they'll find you instantly and understand what you're all about. Think about what you do best. Is it a moody black and white landscape or a vibrant, energetic street photography? The choice is up to you. Try to define your niche in one sentence. For example, I sell fine art, black and white landscape prints of the Pacific Northwest. Now that's the kind of clarity that helps people find you instantly and understands what you're all about. It's better to be absolutely the best at one or two things than just okay at 20 things. Once you've picked your images, it's time to prep the files. This step is critical to make sure you see what's on the screen is going to be the same thing your customers are going to get on the wall. Now, the most important thing you can do is to edit on a color-calibrated monitor. Look, if your screen colors are off, your prints are going to be off as well. Then, when you're ready to export, save your final images as high-resolution JPEGs or a TIFF. A common guideline for photographic prints is to aim for 300 ppi or pixels per inch. And this is for the final print size, but always check the specific requirements of your chosen printer. And let's go easy on the sharpening. What looks crisp on a backlit screen can look crunchy and harsh on paper as well. Alright, now for the fun part. Actually bring your photos to life. You've basically got three main options for printing here. First, you can print at home, and this gives you the ultimate control over your final product. But the upfront cost of a professional grade photo printer, archival inks, and quality paper, it can be pretty steep. It's a solid option if you plan on a high volume of sales and want to micromanage every single detail. But it's also a big leap for a beginner. Second, you can use a local print lab. Now this is a fantastic middle ground. You can actually build a relationship with the people printing your own work, and you can feel the paper samples in person, and also, while you're at it, support another local business. The only real downside you're going to have is you're going to be the one having to pick up the prints and then ship them out to your customer. The third option, and the one I recommend for most beginners that is a print on demand or POD. Now, a customer can place an order on your site, and the service will print the photo, package it, and ships it directly to them. You never have to touch any of the inventory. Now, this approach is fantastic because it frees you up. It lets you focus on taking pictures and marketing some of your work. Now, some services like Whitewall, Fine Art America, or Redbubble are all in one marketplaces, while others are fulfillment partners that can integrate your storefront with the build yourself on platforms like Etsy or Shopify. No matter which path you choose, you need to think about the paper. To avoid analysis paralysis for your customers, just start with a couple of simple choices. Offer a matte finish and a luster or semi-gloss option. These are timeless choices that work almost with any image. It's also a great idea to offer standard sizes that fit ready-made frames such as 5x7, 8x10, 11x14, or even 16x20. This makes it way easier for your customers to get your art on their walls without pricey custom framings. Finally, and I really can't say this enough, order test prints before you go online to market your work here. Before you list a single photo for sale, get samples of your own work. Check the colors, check the sharpness, the paper quality, everything. Nothing will kill your reputation faster than a customer receiving a print that looks nothing like what they expected. Quality control is your job, and it's what will turn a one-time buyer into a collector for life. With your beautiful prints ready to go, it's time to set up shop and tackle the one thing everyone dreads. That, of course, is pricing. First, where are you going to sell? An online store is pretty much essential today. Now, for beginners, platforms like Etsy can be a great starting point because it has a massive built-in audience, people already looking to buy art and gifts. Setting up shop is pretty much straightforward. Now, alternatively, building a dedicated website with a service such as Format or Squarespace or even art storefronts will give you a little bit more control over your brand and customer experience. And don't sleep on social media. Simply posting your work on Instagram with a clear call to action like DM for print inquiries can absolutely land you your first sales. Now, let's talk about money. And please, don't pull a number out of thin air here. A reliable way is to start with cost plus pricing model. The formula is really simple. Your production cost plus your profit, and that's your final price. So let's go ahead and break this down. Your production cost is everything that goes into making that one print. That's the cost of the print itself, any matting for framing, your packaging materials like rigid mailers or anything like that, and corner protectors, of course. Now, let's say that just costs $10 to produce one 8x10 print. Next, you add your profit. Now, while there's no industry standard for a markup, a common starting point for finding your price is to multiply your cost by 3 times or 4 times. So for that $10 print, you might price it around $30 or $40. Now, as your business grows, you'll also want to factor in overheads like website fees or marketing costs, but a simple markup is a solid place to begin. If you decide to offer frame prints, a good rule of thumb is to double the cost of the frame and add that to your print price. Now, don't be afraid to charge what you're worth. You're not just selling a piece of paper, you're selling your unique vision and your skill, and it's a work of art. And remember, presentation really matters. A print that's beautifully presented in a mat or a frame will always command a higher price than just a loose print alone, and that's, if they receive it in a plastic sleeve. And as they say, present cheap, sell cheap, present high, sell high. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, and if you're finding this guide helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. I'm always sharing new strategies to help photographers like you grow their skills and build their businesses as well. Your support helps me keep making these guides for everyone. Now, let's get into the logistics here. Well, you did it. You made a sale, and congratulations there. Now, you just have to get it to your customer in one piece. Now, if you're using a print-on-demand service, they've got this covered. But if you're shipping it yourself, your packaging is everything. Your number one enemy is a bent print. Now, for smaller prints, you can use a heavy-duty cardboard mailer. For larger prints, a sturdy tube is okay, but shipping flat is always better if you can get away with it. First, you put the print into a plastic sleeve to protect it from moisture. Then, you sandwich it between 2 thick cardboards and tape the corners so the print can't slide around. Then, you add cardboard corners for protections and extra security. Your goal is a package that can survive the journey itself. For carriers, you can always use National Postal Services or look at a private carrier like UPS or FedEx, depending on what offers they have and the best price for your services and your package size. And always remember, get a tracking number for every order. It gives you and your customer both peace of mind. And remember, shipping, supplies, and postage are real costs, so make sure you account for them, either by charging a separate shipping fee or building that cost into the total price of the print itself. Now, beyond online sales, don't forget about in-person opportunities. There are art shows, art fairs, local markets, and even coffee shops that can be fantastic places to sell your work. See if a local cafe or restaurant will let you hang your prints on their walls. They get free decor and you get free advertising with your name and website right next to each piece of photographic art you put up there. And when you're selling in person, bring a variety of sizes and displays of your best sellers right in the middle of your booth, and it'll draw people in. Have samples of different paper and different paper types or even metal or canvas prints. This way people can see and feel the quality. That physical connection can really show a buyer the value of really what you're creating here. So that's the roadmap. You start with the right mindset and a curated portfolio of your absolute best work. You prep clean, high-resolution files for printing. You pick a printing method, and I suggest the print on demand for beginners. And you always order test prints first, just to see what the print looks like. And then you set up a simple online shop and use the cost-plus formula to price your work for profit. You learn how to package your prints like a pro, and finally, use a mix of online marketing and local in-person opportunities to get that art in front of the right people. It's a process for sure, and it does take work, but it's 100% achievable. And you don't have to be the most famous photographer in the world just to get started. You just have to start. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope this guide has given you the confidence to take that next step and get out there and start selling your work. If you want to keep learning, I've got a whole playlist of photography business tips waiting for you right here. This is Steve again, and I'll see you in the next video.